Have you heard the exciting news? Something big is coming your way to change how you think about menstrual health and hygiene and sexual reproductive health. That's right, get ready for Oki. Oki is an initiative designed just for you, bringing empowering insights straight to PNG. Stay tuned to Tribe FM for the Oki Toky radio show, where you'll learn everything you need to know about menstrual health and sexual reproductive health. Spread the word and be the first to experience Oki. Don't miss out. Oki PNG, supported by the Australian and PNG government and UNICEF.
Welcome to the Oki Toky radio show. This is your go-to source for insightful and engaging information made just for adolescents and young adults like you and of course myself on a wide range of topics. My name is Tamal and I am pleased to be your host for today's show. But first, before we get into our show for today, we'd like to thank our partners and donors for making the OGPNG initiative and this show possible. And they are the Australian government, the PNG government, and UNICEF. Last week, if you missed it, on the Oki show, we had Ms. Hannah Joku with us. She's a strong advocate for addressing gender-based violence in Papua New Guinea. She talked about how everyone in PNG, including men and boys, can make sure we all have a safe and respectful environment. So Ms. Hannah mentioned that PNG will really move forward when everyone is included. She also pointed out, how important families are in raising boys and girls to respect each other. She also gave some great advice for anyone facing violence. So if you know someone who is facing violence, she did mention some of the advice last week. And I hope you all did check out the Oki PNG app on Google Play Store and App Store. The app has a list of places in Papua New Guinea where you can contact if you're dealing with violence or threats.
Okay, let me celebrate you. Okay, let me empower you. Okay, by supporting you with the best version of you. I am here to be a friend. I am here to help you learn. I am here to help you be the best you can.
In time blow you on many hiding good. Look out in you, yeah. Long time no sick moon. Now when time blow you, her mama's messed up good. Look out in you, yeah. Long time no sick moon.
Okay, let me celebrate you. Okay, let me empower you. Okay, by supporting you with the best version of you. I am here to be a friend. I am here to help you learn. I am here to help you be the best you can.
And you with Tamal on the Oki Toky show, we just started. So for today, we are continuing on with our Women's Day special feature. And today we have a young guest. Her name is Ms. Florence Pill. She is the University of Papua New Guinea's female representative. And thank you, Florence, for making time to join us on the Oki Toky show. As a female representative, I know for sure that you're a busy person as a student, and the role that you perform as a female representative with the SRC at UPNG. So thank you for making time to join us. Before we continue as part of the tradition that we do here at Tribe FM, when we have someone, we always want them to tell us a little bit about themselves before we get into the conversation or the reason, having them joining us particular times, for programs and all that. But let's start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the program. Thank you.
I am Florence Pill. I'm from a mixed parentage of Chimbu and Southern Islands, but actually I grew up in Gurkha, and I was raised there at Gurkha all my life, be it my primary school there as well as my elementary, but I did my secondary in Southern Islands. I went to my mama's place, and I did my secondary. Then I was selected to IURA, and I did my 11 and 12. Then I came down to UPNG in the School of Business and Public Policy, and I did my foundation here. Then we were streamed. So as a child growing up, I always wanted to be an ambassador. That's why I was streamed into public policy. So I'm doing my final year in the School of Business and Public Policy, especially majoring public policy. So that's about me. Currently, I am the female vice president for the UPNG representing the students. And I faced a lot of things as a female vice president for this year. I was stressed out. I have lots of challenges as a woman to cope up with things. But I managed through it all. I have the strength, and I know I have the courage to take on board everything that is coming my way. So I managed it through. Yeah. And it was through education. Yeah. So that's about me. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing a little bit about yourself. And now we know who Florence is. We know who our guest is for our show today. Well, congratulations. You've made it to the final year as a business and public policy student. And then I love the building that you have, the facilities, the business school has at the UPNG. So, and I think the law school also, they have a new facility. But yes, away from that, let's get into our conversation for today. I'm going to ask you this question. If you could tell us a bit about your childhood, where you grew up. I think you briefly mentioned that. But in terms of your major sources of inspiration and why they are your sources of inspiration. Thank you.
So, as a child growing up, I was with my mom and dad, but at that time, my dad gave birth, and my mom gave birth at a very young age. So, my dad and my mom doesn't have the financial strength, I would say, at that time to look after me. And I was the eldest in the family too. So at that time, I was with my grandma at Goroka, and they had to look for money to find their way out to get me back. So I was with my grandma at that time. I did my primary from grade 3 to 5, and until my mom was on a ship and she came back, she took me with her, and I was with them. And I was with my dad. My parents, they raised me up, but life wasn't easy for us. Because my dad was, now he's moving up to a position where we have enough to manage for the family. But at first, he was working with Steamboat Marketing Farmers Limited. He was the agriculturist at that time. And the money, import net income was only 650 at that time. And it was pretty tough for me as a female. I have lots of needs, and I want lots of things to have in life, but that 650 wasn't enough for me and my family. And then I have other siblings coming up at that time, so it was pretty tough and challenging for me. But my dad always told me that education is something that will change your life, so get your education. And he was the person who worked very hard. He gave sleepless nights, and he struggled hard for me and my family to get through to where I am today. And so the biggest inspiration for me is my dad. He's always very hardworking and very strong. Although he was sick at certain point in time, he was sick, but he never gave up for us and our family. And that's why my dad is always my biggest inspiration to pursue and to continue on with life.
Thanks, Florence. And I can say that I share the same sentiments as yourself. I am a media person now because I grew up admiring my dad doing his work as a journalist, and I ended up studying journalism. But lovely to hear from your experience and the challenges that you went through, they enabled you and your family to be where you are today. And you're at the university. It's an achievement that your family is celebrating. And thank you for being willing to talk about your life as a child and what your family went through. Appreciate that. Now, we'll move on to the next question. This is something that I'm pretty sure most of our girls and women, they have their own stories. They have their own experiences. But I'll get you to share yours today. Do you have a first period story for us? And what was your experience like when you had your first period? How did you feel? Did you sought help and all that?
Yeah, that was back in 2013 when I was in my grade 7. I was studying at that time. And I remember I first had my period. Like, I went to the loo and, I could see something like the bleeding. And I ran to my mom. And said, Mom, like, there's something wrong with me. Can you come check? Can you come see it? So my mom walked over and she was asking, what's happening? And I told her, I have bleeding. So I'm bleeding. And she told me, oh no, you're on your period. That's called period. You are in the puberty stage now. You're growing up. And at that point, to be honest, I was just confused. Like, I feel like, why am I a female? That's the thought that came into my mind. Like, I just don't like it. And to be honest, at that time, I didn't want to eat too. I just went into the house and I stayed and I was complaining like, why would that thing happen? That was the first experience I had at that time. But my mom was there and she was comforting. She was telling me everything that as a woman you will go through and you should appreciate that in life. And because we normally chimbu, they call it go into the house. When you become young, you go into the house. So I was with my mom in Southern Islands and we couldn't do that. So she offers food celebrations for me to make sure as we remember our culture. Yeah, and that makes me to show everyone that I am in that stage and I am young now. Yeah.
And that is, that speaks highly of how unique PNG is. And I'm pretty sure a girl from maybe Southern region or Momata region, NGI would have her own story on how she got, first introduced to the community as a girl, as a woman. But thanks for sharing your first experience with us. We had a discussion like this sometime last year on the Oki show, and we talk about the first period that a girl has, that is called Minaki in the English language. We'll move on. If you're listening in to Try the Fam, this is the Toky radio show. I am Tamal and I am pleased to have you joining me. With me in the studio is Miss Florence Pill from the University of Papua New Guinea. She is representing all the girls and women studying at UPNG. She's part of the Student Representative Council. And yes, she's with us. Our special guest for the Oki show. Florence, you've shared with us your first experience when you first had your period. If you were to go back in time to that very day, that very moment, or that very first time, what would change about your experience and also that of your friends? I think this question is trying to ask, how would you have dealt with it when you first had it?
So looking back then, at that time, I have never heard of anything about, even in my class, we never heard of any period obstacles or anything like that. I would say we were just, and as I explained earlier, that it was pretty confusing and I was so surprised at that time when I first had my period at that time. So to go back at that time, the main difference is the education perspective that we have on that. So back then our mind wasn't that broad and we weren't looking into that. And when you have that, I was just given a pad at that time. My mom just gave me, I don't know, but she gave me something and said, you can just use that. And yeah, but today we are so privileged to have all the pads and we have the health checker, such as Toky, where it really gives us the confidence and we have the dignity to look through and then we know when to have our period. So to go back then we were blind at that time. But for today, we think education, but it broadens our mind and perspective to see the importance of period after such as Toky.
Very well said there, Florence, and I can support you on that. Today we have the track case, and it comes in different versions, and you can always go on Google Play Store, App Store, and choose for yourself which one you feel comfortable using. And of course, the UPNG tracker app that we now have. And I mentioned earlier on when we started, if you haven't checked it out yet, you can go on Google Play Store or App Store and download the app, just like how you go and download Ludo and of course any other apps that you download online. All right, anyways, the next question that we have for our show today is quite an interesting one. How do you think, Florence, the stigma is around menstruation affecting young women and girls in Papua New Guinea?
So that's a very good, interesting question. From my perspective, I think it affects especially the education and the mental health of the students. Like most girls, when they're having their period, for example, me, if I'm on a period, I just don't want to go to class. Like I feel weak and I feel bored and I just want to stay indoor. Or if I'm with my mom or with my family back at home, I would just be lazy at that time. Like it doesn't mean like I am lazy, but I just don't want to do anything. And I would just lose concentration and all that. And also, it makes me feel depressed, like my mental health, it makes me feel depressed and like I feel anxious at certain point. And then I would just have some kind of questions popping up. Because for me, like, it took me 4 to 5 days to end. So like, I was just so depressed and sometimes you could cramp, right? When you're having cramping, it's pretty hard for that. And that makes me, sometimes hate this thing in me, that development in me. Yeah.
From your experience, now that you're sharing, if a girl or a woman maybe attending school or attends work and is getting some kind of teasing from her classmates and all that, how will someone deal with that? Well, how will a female student deal with the teasing and all that's coming from the male student?
Well, you just have to be who you are at that point. And they have to understand that this is something that the girls cannot change. This is what we go through in life, and this makes us unique. So you just be who you are at that time. If you are criticized, if someone is teasing you at that point, you don't mind what they are saying, but you be who you are. And you must be proud to be a woman.
And I like how you're saying it. And this question reminds me of a conversation that Tribe FM on the Oki show had with one of our guests. I can't recall, but the show was based on how female students deal with menstruation when they're in class or in school. And if you're listening in and you happen to be in that situation, you've been teased by the boys, your classmates and all that, I think the first, go-to person is your best friend, your best female best friend. Yeah. Your female, maybe your classmate, or, sometimes we share desks, so you can check the person that's next to you if she's a female and ask for help. And your next person is your teacher, female teacher. You can ask for help. If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance because you're bleeding, you're having a period. And of course, stigma plays a lot when it comes to menstruation in young girls and women. It can seriously impact young women and girls, and of course make them feel ashamed and embarrassed, stopping them from getting help or talking about their needs. And if she's a student, she might not go to school at all because of that. And of course, accessing essential resources and support is another thing, and the overall quality of life. And in many cases, it can even lead to girls, like I mentioned, missing school or stepping back from social activities during their period. And this then, bring them to, it limits their development and opportunities to take part in several activities, occasions, and all that. So that's how I think most people, many of those that talks about stigma and menstruation will mention what we just talked about. Let's move on to our next question. So, what role do you think education plays in changing perceptions about menstruation?
So, education plays an important role broadening the way we see things and our perspective of looking at the way of life. So, as a woman, as I come to understand what an education is, I really appreciate the importance of education in my life. If without education, I would be just pregnant at that time where I don't know what's going on. But as I come up, as long as I come to face the reality and the education, it really broadens my perspective to see the importance of it. Yeah.
Yes, Florence, you've said it well. Knowledge is power, and having access to information is another thing. When you have that right information that you need, you won't go wrong. You will be, assisted, and of course, you will be at a better position to help yourself and the others as well. So yeah, education in terms of maybe awareness as well, being able to be educated on how to look after yourself, how to look after your sister, and of course at some point your mom, your other female counterparts as well. It's very important the role that education plays in this space of sexual health and hygiene, and of course menstruation in women and girls. I am totally agreeing with you on what you've been sharing with us, Florence, since we started off this conversation. We've got more resources these days than before at our doorstep, at our fingertips. If you have a mobile phone, man, that's a lot of information there. As long as you have data, you've got access to maybe telecom network, digital network, Vodafone network now has joined the market. Information is right there. Technology is enabling us to access information around menstruation, sexual health, and also hygiene. We'll take a short break. So if you're listening into this show, the Toky Radio Show, don't go, alright? We'll be back with more on our topic for today, which is navigating adolescence. And we've got Miss Florence Pill with us as well.
Okay, let me celebrate you. Okay, let me empower you. Okay, by supporting you with the best version of you. I am here to be a friend. I am here to help you learn. I am here to help you be the best you can.
And you're listening into the Toky Radio Show. Welcome back. Our guest Florence Pill, the female representative with the Student Representative Council of the University of Papua New Guinea, is with us. Youth leader, yes, from UPNG. And of course, my name is Tamal. I am delighted to have your company if you're with us at this time. We've been having a very good conversation with Florence with regards to navigating adolescence, and which is a very important time. And it can, of course, set the foundations of our future as young women, and of course, as a young girl. Now, as a successful young woman yourself, Florence, I'm pretty sure you have been faced with some kind of challenges, and you were able to figure out some ways to overcome those challenges. Could you share some tips with our young listeners, and I'm assuming you must have mentioned some of them, some of the challenges that you faced yourself. If you can think of another, if you'd like to share with us, I can give you some time.
I have lots of challenges in life. One that I have already shared. Another challenge that I went through, the most difficult one that I nearly lost my life as well, was a time when my best friend got killed. She passed away in 2018 at that time during the earthquake in Southern Islands province. And she died not in a it was very terrible with a tragic accident where something, the roof just came down and bashed there with her friend, so she passed away. So at that time, I went through a lot. Like I couldn't bear, it was just something that I couldn't even cope up with. But as a woman, then I had to see from different perspectives that things happen for a reason. So she passed away at that time. So I looked into the different perspectives, and having that scar with me, I overcome that challenge and I stood up. And from there, because she loves to be a journalist, we were childhood friends growing up together. She wanted to be a journalist at that time, but she passed away at that. It was very surprising that. And I couldn't bear it, but I made it through. I made it. And I wanted to give my best to like every woman, especially losing my best friend women at that time. To be honest, I don't want to make friends with any women anymore, like to have best friends with us. Like I just want to go out and stay with only males only at that time. But then I come to realize the importance of having women as friends. So I overcome that challenge at that time. And now I do have lots of women friends.
I'm very sorry to hear that story about your best friend. Very unfortunate, losing a loved one in a manner that you didn't even think about, unimaginable. But look where you are today. You made it through, and I'm pretty sure she's proud of the woman that you've become, after the heartbreak that you went through, and you came out victorious, and you're at the university now. Final year, and I guess next year is the year that you get that paper physically holding it, in your hands. And yes, if you're on Tribe 92.3 FM, this is the Okie Toky Radio Show. So if you're listening in, I appreciate your time and being interested to know what it's like, to deal with menstruation, how you can help the other female, or even as a man and as a boy, how, the role that you can play in this case of, sexual health and hygiene and menstruation. We'll move on with our conversation. Florence, quite often we see girls lacking confidence to get into roles of leadership like yourself, in schools, colleges, churches, or a respective community. So as a student leader, UPNG is a premier university. And what would be your advice to girls? How did you make it to the top as a female representative?
Well, I'm an Adventist, Seventh-day Adventist, and I grew up in church. So we normally had classes from Adventure to Pathfinders and all that. So from there, we talk about leadership, and we build our confidence only in church. So I was raised from the church. I built my confidence there. And I would say it is something that is inbuilt in me to be a leader. So as I was growing up, I see things differently from different angles, from my mom's perspective, and then from my dad's view, looking from two different places together, and then meeting with different friends and coming to different places. I've seen things differently, and that builds me to develop the leadership to be who I am, looking at different things that were around me at that time. So my advice to a young woman, everybody is inbuilt with leadership. you just have to see the potential in you. You have something to develop. You are a great woman. Every woman, young girls and women, you have a potential in you to make something contribute better for our nation. And you can also be a voice that can be heard if you believe in yourself. So always know that you have the potential in you, and it is something that you can always achieve when you try it. So do not be afraid. Have this confidence in you. And if you're someone who lacks confidence, I would encourage you to attend sessions like training sessions, public speaking sessions. This would really encourage you to build your confidence, because I do that too.
Wow, I like the ending part where, you get to make use of the opportunities of, the sessions, trainings that are put out there when it comes to public speaking. And I can see that you're very confident. If you're listening in, I'm pretty sure you can tell that this is Florence's first time to be in a studio and be on radio. And yeah, you can agree with me. You cannot pick up any sign of being, Florence being nervous. So yeah, there you go. Very confident, fitting for the role as a female representative at the University of Papua New Guinea, representing all female students who's attending this premier university. Thank you for sharing your tricks, your personal tips with us on how you go about building confidence and becoming a leader. Florence mentioned, attending church and getting involved in the church activities has helped a lot to shape and mold her to be who she is today, a leader, and of course, representing now for all female students at UPNG. That's something big, That post is meant for those that are able to work under pressure, dealing with the students' challenges, female challenges, student-female challenges, and also, getting concentrated on your studies as a business student. And yes, you are very much confident, and thank you for sharing again your tips with us. Moving on with our questions. Next question that I have is, if you could tell us, how would you like to see the theme of this year's International Women's Day, put in action in PNG? And the theme was for all women and girls, rights, equality, empowerment. How would you like to see this theme in action in PNG?
So that's a big one, that question. So you can imagine, as a young person, I would like to talk about more, but I'll just stick to just three of them. So the first one is, we should implement nationwide educational program that could promote gender equality, especially in our country, and that would promote the rights of women. And also, we could integrate the school curriculums, especially about certain awareness about women and gender equality and all that. And secondly, we need to protect women and girls from violence and discrimination. And this includes strict enforcement of laws against gender-based violence and creating safety where survivors can help to seek and support without fear of stigma or retaliation. And we must ensure that the important one is we must ensure that the voices of women are heard. Yeah, thank you.
I like how you've sort of summarized everything into 3 points, and it's very true what you've summarized. Capturing women's needs and wants, like, equality and all that in our school curriculum, education curriculum. Because if you start right at the foundation, you have a future leader, you have a future women that's capable of leading a family, leading the respective areas that they represent. That's a very good one that sort of stood out for me, capturing it through the school's curriculum. Of course, the other two are just very similar, very important as well. I think we've come to the end of our conversation. We'd like to thank you, Florence, for your time. I personally very inspired by your experiences and the person that you've become as a woman and as a leader, representing the women and girls attending the University of Papua New Guinea. That's a lot of task that comes with that, the position that you're holding as a representative. You know, we're diverse. We've got our different needs and wants, and you will try to capture all that under your responsibilities as a female rep. But yes, thank you for sharing your experiences with us. And if you're listening in, I hope you're inspired by Florence's stories, experiences, in menstruation space, linking that to her leadership role, leadership background as well. So once again, thank you. And if you've got anything else to say, anything at all, I can give you a few minutes.
I want to thank Tribe FM for this opportunity, also the UNICEF for this opportunity to come. It's my first time to be in an audio of this. I really appreciate this. One thing I wanted to leave with the young women as they're coming up, I would say spiritual education, because that's what the Bible says. Proverbs 4 verse 13 says, graduate education, for it is your life. So graduate education, as for me, I came from a very remote village, but it is through education I have traveled out. I've seen new places, and education has brought me to where I am today, and now I am the female vice president of the Premier University of Papua New Guinea, and it is through education that I've broadened my networks with other people, and through education gives me lots of opportunities in life, and I've seen so much. So as a woman out there, keep education, look after education, guide it well, and only education can give you the life that you want. And it can even open the places, the doors that you cannot even see for you. Thank you.
Florence Pill from the University of Papua New Guinea, the Student Representative Council female rep, joining us for the Okie Toky radio show. We'll just take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look at the UPNG spotlight and, of course, wrapping up the show. But before that, we also have some tricks and tips for you. Keep listening. Got that for you coming up on the other side.
In time blow you on many hiding good. Without him you yeah, long time no sick moon. Now I'm time blow you. Her mama's messed up good. Without him you yeah, long time no sick moon.
Let me celebrate you. Let me empower you. By supporting you with the best version of you. I am here to be a friend. I am here to help you learn. I am here to help you be the best you can.
Welcome back to the Okie Toky radio show. We are towards the end of our program for today. Just here to share some tricks and tips with you. If you didn't know, self-care can include activities you love, like drawing, reading, or playing a sport. Even taking breaks to relax and recharge can do wonders for your mind. So if you're feeling unsure or anxious, don't bottle it up, okay? Talk to someone you trust. Could be a friend, a family member, or even a pastor. Now, at times, just sharing your worries can, make you feel more comfortable and, of course, make them more manageable as well. So these are some of the tips that you can take into account. But also don't forget to check out the health centers on the Okie PNG app that's online. It has a list of services for young people. So do check it out if you haven't installed the app in your phone. You can check out Play Store or the App Store. All right, so guess what? If you don't know, Okie is now in PNG, and it's a globally recognized period tracking mobile app. It is used in 11 other countries as well. They are the Philippines, Indonesia. It is used in Ukraine, West Bengal in India, Tanzania is also using the Oki app, Kenya and South Africa, among others. So like I mentioned earlier on, if you're using an Android phone, the Oki PNG app can be downloaded off Google Play Store. If you're using an iPhone, check out App Store and install the Oki PNG app into your mobile phone. There's something interesting about this app is it can be used offline. You don't need data to access information in there. The only time that you'll need data is when you want to download the app. So you'll have to get data to download the app. Once it's downloaded onto your phone, all you have to do is just use it however you want to use it. You can use the information in there to even educate your sisters, your aunties, and any other, groups of female and women that you're part of. You can use the encyclopedia that's in there and share the information all you want. But yes, today we had an incredible conversation with Miss Florence Pill. She's a passionate youth advocate, and I'm pretty sure you could have heard from her voice and how she conversed with me today. So she was with us as a part of our Women's Day special feature, sharing her inspiring journey and insights on growing up with a leadership mindset. And like I said earlier on, I was truly inspired by her joining us today. Now with that, we've officially come to the end of our show, our Oki Toky radio show. Thank you so much for tuning into the show today, your trusted source for practical and empowering information made just for young people like you and myself. My name is Tamal. I was your host today, and we can't wait to have you back next time. But first, before we go, a huge thank you to our partners and our donors for making the show today possible and the Oki PNG initiative possible. They are the Australian government, the PNG government, and UNICEF. Join us same time, same day next week for more discussions, exciting discussions on Oki Toky Radio. Until then, stay healthy, stay confident, period.
Okay, let me celebrate you. Okay. Let me